Hi there, Scorpio, and welcome to your December reading. We've made it to the end of the year, and this is by far one of my favorite readings to do. Not only is it a chance to take a look at anything that is a loose end that you haven't wrapped up, but it also gives us a little bit of a glimpse into the new year, especially as we look at the last few cards of the initial spread that I do. As always, you can use this video for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. If you don't know all three, don't worry about it. Just stick with your sun sign, and that should be enough. Now, I'd like to take a quick minute to thank everybody that first of all, is joining me for the first time. Welcome. And especially all of those of you that have been with me for the past year or two or three. You've been a part of a wonderful landmark year where I hit 100,000 subscribers, and that means a lot to me. So thanks for the support. I can't wait to see what next year is going to bring. And I actually have some fun things planned for January, including another live feed. And I'm going to play around with the format of the monthly videos a little bit too, to help us look at the new energy for the new year. So I can't wait to share that with you. Now, speaking of support, if you would like to give back to the channel, another way that you can do that besides liking and subscribing is to join me on Patreon. I'll put some information here at the bottom of the video, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this as well. But let's get into the main message here, which is why you tuned in, talking about all of the energy in December. I like to start the readings off with something I call channeled information. I look at the deck of cards that I'm going to be using and I meditate over that right before I press record here. And when I'm doing that, I usually receive some images, some thoughts, some feelings, and then I record that in automatic writing. For you, the image that came through was something that harkens back to childhood for most of us. It was, I saw us in a sandbox, basically. And there was a feeling of frivolity, of fun, of just letting go or letting loose. And I think that as adults, we lose touch with the playful energy that we have as kids, where we can do a lot of mental dreaming. And you know, that phrase, what if I do this? Or maybe I'll try this, or when I grow up, I can be this. There's no limits. And unfortunately, as we grow up, society, parents, friends, teachers, all meaning well usually, but they put these limits on us, or they put little seeds of doubt in our mind. What I want you to do this month is to go back to that time when you were a kid, and I want you to play in your mental sandbox, your sort of mental playground, if you will, and have some fun. Children, in all of their wonderment, they really don't worry so much about how things are going to be perceived by the adults. They have fantasies, they have dreams, they have emotions, and they play them out. And it's not until they're taught that that's wrong or that you can't do this that they limit themselves. So I want you to go to a fun place in your head when you're trying to solve problems or when you're feeling stuck in life, and get back to that, because we never really lose it. We just learn to kind of bottle it up and put it away. Now, the other piece of this is I'd like this to sort of be an infectious part of your life in a positive way. I want you to spread the fun in everyday life. So in work, if you're a boss, a leader, or a mentor, you could take your team and pull them into an unexpectedly cool event rather than keeping something sort of bottled up in a typical work environment. So this would be a chance for you to maybe do an off-site meeting or just something for fun, actually. It would be better, I know back when I used to have a corporate job, I would hate it when we would then have to do work. Sometimes just get the group out and allow them to have fun together, and don't worry about constructive energy, because that fun, that team building, the following day, everyone's going to benefit from it. So it's actually enough to just have fun. This is true in relationships as well. You and your partner, you and your best friend, you and your animal, whatever. Just go out tonight a little and do something playful, a movie, together time, a walk, whatever. And it's that time spent together that's going to open up everything for you this month. Let's now take a look at the cards and see what additional insights they have to yield. And we'll trace it back to that sort of mental sandbox or mental playground and see where there might be some options for you to push your comfort zone a little bit. Now, at this point, I like to remain quiet. This is so that I can observe the energy of the cards and receive messages as well. So as soon as I've laid out the Celtic cross, I'll come back and we'll talk about everything that's in front of us. We're going to look at one more card here as well. This is the Catalyst, and this shows how everything is connected. So your catalyst this month is opportunity. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you can read it. It says, golden opportunity, important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. So this isn't a time to hesitate. You want to really embrace new things. And that's supported, I'm going to jump to the end here real quick, by the World card. It's the World reversed, which means that something could be coming through that completely changes your outlook on things. This could be a chance also for travel, for sharing a project or distributing something as well. Now, it does feel like there's a sort of element of surprise with it because that card was upside down, and it definitely would push you outside of your comfort zone. So let's look at everything before rushing to that, but I already see a connection between the catalyst and the outcome this month, which is exciting. So when I looked at the Six of Wands in reverse this month, the message that came through was, don't edit yourself. Six of Wands is a card where you're focused a lot of times on what the group is looking at or feeling or thinking. And what this card in reverse says is, don't say no to something until other people have. Don't limit yourself. So absolutely tied to the channeled message that we talked about earlier. Then this card is modified or crossed by the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Coins, which is a card of decisions that you have to make. So one thing that I look at with your energy, with your attention span, with all resources this month is you'll have enough to complete everything that you need to, but you are going to have to say no occasionally, and you are going to have to figure out some things are more worth your time than others. So your time and energy management this month is paramount. It was right at the center, and you may have to make some decisions that are not popular because we have the Six of Wands in reverse. As a leader, as a decision maker in your own life, just as an individual, that's sometimes necessary. So if it feels right, if it is right, make that decision and don't worry too much about it. As I'm looking at what's affecting you outside of this central theme, emotions play a really big role, and relationships in general play a really big role. Now, in the deep past, we have the Knight of Cups card in reverse. And because it's a knight to me is about taking action. It's also about giving and receiving. For some of you, there might be a little bit of a block coming through on how to deal with other people's emotions or the intensity of your own emotions. So part of that having fun is going to be a way to have like a release valve for some of that. And I think it's really important for you to let out some of the frustration and just change the energy. There's a lot of different ways that we can express ourselves. If you're not crying, laughter actually is another way to release some of that tension. And so that could be good. Sports as well, if you want to really get your adrenaline up, that's another way to kind of like get the energy transmuted and sort of pushed into a different direction. And that's what I'm seeing here. We have the Fool card, it's reversed. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to get out there and do something that allows you to kind of stretch and get out of your comfort zone. And your crowning card is the Two of Cups, also reversed, which is showing me that by and large, people are going to be taking a little bit more than they're giving this month, or you may be in a place, again, where it's difficult in those intimate relationships to find a way to communicate and make sense of things. Don't be afraid to ask for help. A friend's advice this month could be really valuable and insightful and a way to kind of work through some of this, the challenges here. Around the middle of the month, it feels like you're going to be wanting to put a lot of focus on yourself, on things that are important to you for next year. This is an egocentric card, but it's a good card. And so the other piece of this that I'm getting, especially because this one is reversed, is that you want to be thinking about how your energy is an attractive force. If you can get into a positive space, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about what's going on in your life, people are going to be drawn to you because you have this sense of calm. If, however, you're worried about everything, then it's more of a sense of this constant storm that's going on. So I want you to be very cognizant about your emotions and how they are projecting and also sometimes pushing away opportunities. And remember, you don't want to do that this month. I want you to use your charisma and your ability to trust yourself to bring in those opportunities and embrace them. One more time, we are seeing now a Queen of Cups here in reverse. Now, because I've got two of the same suit plus the Two of Cups in the crowning position, I see for some of you that there could be a big shift happening in your relationships. The World card is in the outcomes, which is saying for some of you, endings and beginnings. Maybe you're taking your relationship to a new level, or maybe you're deciding to go your separate ways. This is something I've seen repeatedly this month, so it is a trend. And so you have a decision to make. And for some of you, children are involved because the sun can involve a baby. So if that's the case, what's important this month is to put the work in and decide how much you're both getting out of that situation. For those of you that are single, what I see with this is really working on strengthening your emotions, channeling your passion into something productive. Now we're seeing your environment card, temperance. If you can, again, find that outlet, that way to kind of put the release valve on things, I think that you're going to be able to channel the passion into productivity. Both of these cards in the upright position showing that this is your power center this month. I really think that you should focus more of your energy on work and productivity if possible. But for those of you that are in a relationship and it's challenging, this can mean working on the relationship. But it's a month where you're putting effort into something you care about, and it's going to come back. The Three of Coins, much like the Three of Wands, is something where great work is recognized and goals are attainable. This is also a card, particularly because it's connected to the world and the outcome, that shows distribution, acclaim, and acceptance, and that's a good thing. In a traditional Rider-Waite, you will see someone working on what looks like an archway, and then people either paying attention or taking notes, but the kind of connection is we see what you're doing. And so in a relationship, your partner will admire, acknowledge, and see the work you're doing, and vice versa. And that's also a bit of advice if there's anything going on in friendships, relationships, etc. Just simply saying thank you and acknowledging that people are showing up, doing their best, trying their hardest. That's going to go a long way into making things better for the two of you. One other message I'm looking at in the outcome is that you could have an unexpected trip or travel opportunity that presents itself, or you may be deciding to make a plan for next year. This is a good time to do the planning, but it is reversed. So if you decide to travel, particularly towards the mid to end part of this month, there are going to be some delays or some surprises with this. So I really think it would make sense to hold off and do it next year, unless, of course, you're flying home for the holidays. But I think this has more to do with a bigger sort of travel plan or opportunity. So delay if you can, or expect some delays if you're going to have to travel this month. I still think that it will be worthwhile because it's attached to the Three of Pentacles. So sometimes you have to do it even if it's inconvenient. Let's expand your forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll start off with your health card first. Health includes your mind, your body, and your spiritual health as well. The message in health is fertility. And this card is also reversed, no surprise here. There's a lot of energy that you have to, areas of your life that you have to sort of rein in. It looks like emotions is the first piece. And then with fertility, there are two messages that I get here. Quite literally, those of you that might be trying to conceive could be having some challenges this month. And so this is something where you want to take your time. Emotions play a big component here because all of the emotional cards were reversed. All the cups are reversed. So as many of you know, conceiving a child isn't just biological, it's also emotional. This may not be the best month to put the energy into that if that's something you're doing. Now, I also see Pan as a god that sometimes goes to extremes. So when we're looking at diet this month, be very careful about how much you're eating or exactly what you're eating. And I think that if there's a lot of sugar, a lot of alcohol, a lot of fat or cholesterol, these sort of things are fun, and Pan would probably enjoy seeing you have a good time, but you want to try to rein that in a little bit, and everything in moderation, but not every night, not all the time, and I think that makes sense. So try to be moderate this month. When we look again at your environment, it's temperance. So saying no, knowing when enough is enough, and I think you'll be okay then, okay? And again, that message on fertility for those that it makes sense, that's something worth looking into. For both men and women of any age, this is also just a good time to check in with your doctor. So OBGYN for women, and for men, if you haven't had an appointment with a urologist or something like that, this is a good time to do that. All right, so we just looked at your health card. Let's see what's coming through for wealth. Wealth is, again, not just money. It can also be career opportunities, your own self-worth, and how open you are to these opportunities. So let's see what the message is for you this month. These cards are a little stubborn, but here we go. It says overcoming obstacles. So you notice that there's this sort of Excalibur style illustration here. For some of you this month, I feel like, and this card was reversed, and this is a good message with the reversal on this, it's about things getting easier when it comes to your financial situation. I have to say, I didn't notice that much in the way of money cards this month, except that you would have enough if you made good choices, and that for some of you, recognition was around the corner. So you may be able to get a raise or a bonus or find a new avenue for money in the next year. So I feel like the struggle that you've been going through this year is lightening a bit as we look at next year. So keep working hard. Know that the proof is in the pudding here. So if you continue on this path of putting attention to detail, really caring about what you do, then I think things are going to be in a great place for you as you go into next year. We looked at health, wealth. Now let's take a look at your love and relationships and see what the message is here. So we have the voice of truth, Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc, of course, someone who was very good with being able to hear her intuition. So some of you out there may be clairaudient and be able to pick up on guidance from afar just by listening or hearing the whisper or hearing the voice inside your head. And I want you to pay attention to that little voice this month. For me, a lot of times throughout the day, I'll just get a persistent thought of something that I have to do, or a person will be on my mind. And so whether it comes in an image, a thought, or sometimes I hear the voice too, or I hear a word, I want you to pay attention to that and try to check in with those people, because a lot of times what happens is they may be looking at their phone ready to text you or call you. They may be harboring some sort of concern or issue. And when you kind of break that feeling of I need to contact you and you just pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? You can then free yourself of that a little bit and move on to something else. So the other thing is focusing on truth. Joan of Arc was kind of fearless. She said what she needed to say. So this month, even if it's difficult, this is like the Queen of Swords. You need to deliver the message clearly, but in I would say in a way that's still constructive. It's not the Queen of Swords reverse, it's just the Queen of Swords, and that's a direct line of communication. The other sort of caption on this, it says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release fear of persecution, and speak your truth. So there you go. That's your message this month for communication. I will say this, looking at your opportunity card, words, written words are your power this month. So it may help you if you have to discuss something difficult to have it written down or to write a letter and give that to someone. So play around a little bit and see if that makes sense for whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. But the most important thing is to hear what's important, listen to people, listen to your intuition, and speak your truth. Let's look at your destiny card now. Destiny, of course, is functioning as a GPS in this spread, allowing you to either continue or to alter your course. What we see here for many of you is a need to harmonize when it comes to family situations. Another reversal here. And when I'm looking at this, it's really also kind of telling you that there's no such thing any longer, and I don't know if there ever was, as the perfect family. What you have to do is find what makes sense to you. Your own definition of family is fine. And sometimes we get made to feel guilty or we doubt ourselves because of all the portrayals of family in television, movie, literature. And what's important is to realize that family can be your two best friends. And maybe you're sitting together on a holiday and you think to yourself, like, this is the best family I could ask for. It could be a non-traditional family, having two mothers, two fathers, or having an extended family from different generations and different cultures. There's no normal family anymore. So what I want you to do is to celebrate whatever your diverse and unusual family is. And if you don't feel like you're a part of one, this is a chance for you to connect and have fun with people in your community, to kind of go out and find your own tribe, your own family. So just know that, especially during December, I think that that's a poignant message to come through, is that happiness is here, family is whoever you love, and that's more than enough, okay? Let's go ahead and review everything that I talked about, and then we'll wrap up this reading. I talked at the beginning about the channeled message, which was to have fun. I mentioned the idea of a playground in your head or a sandbox where you could take risks, where you could think, what if, ... and then go there. So try that this month. And then also in everyday adult life, don't be afraid to take people out of their comfort zones and put them into something fun or unusual. And this is going to break up the monotony. The catalyst this month was reminding you that there's a big opportunity on the horizon, and we saw that here at the very end with the World card. So for some of you, a change of job, change of location, change of relationship. If that's the case, go for it. It looks like it's a really good shift for you, even if it's something that makes you a little bit nervous. Don't edit yourself this month. Remember that time and energy management is the most important thing. There's a lot of cards here with relationships, and they all seem to be in a position that indicates that you are going to have to be the one that maintains balance. People around you may be asking for more, or you may be in a place where you need to lean on them some more. So whatever it is, focus on what is best for yourself. I don't always say that, but I think it's important this month. Feel free, take some risks, have some fun. Know that that's going to be an attractive energy to others. I want you to try to relax if you can. If you have some vacation time, that's one thing I didn't mention with temperance. I think this makes sense. Downtime is going to be integral to your success. That's part of the fun message as well. Don't be afraid to finish something that you've started. The Three of Pentacles also can show higher education, certification, but it usually has to do with sort of a higher level of knowledge acquisition, not just something you're doing for fun. So some of you may be ready to graduate or finish your dissertation or something like that. And congrats to you if you've done that hard work. The World is an end and a beginning. So I feel like, it's natural that we see this at the end of a year, but it looks like you're also wrapping up a phase in your life, which means January is a clean slate. And so treat it as such. Let go of some of the old stuff, allow new things to come in. Pan, mentioning again, focusing on fertility, whether it's a literal sort of fertility or looking at how much you're kind of going to extremes with respect to eating or even just general habits in your life. Pan isn't necessarily a god of restraint. He kind of encouraged people to have fun. So yes, I want you to have fun in your life, but don't go to extremes when it comes to diet, alcohol, other substances and habits. Try to rein that part in. When we're looking at your financial sort of area, what we're seeing is that the obstacles are getting a little bit easier as you finish up December. So don't be afraid when we're looking at wealth for you to kind of like go in and fix things and let go of this feeling of burden. So the more you do this month, the less you have to deal with in January. For love, truth and honesty and directness is going to be a key to success. And finally, we were talking about there really is no traditional family. Happiness is here. Families who you love, remember that in this season and share that love with somebody else, and know that at the very least you're part of this family here, and that's really why I show up each month. It's a nice way to end this reading, which is my purpose. I'm hoping that I can build a community of like-minded light workers and intuitives and people that just want to develop themselves. So I want to say thank you for being a part of that. And if you ever have something going on in your life and you just want to chat a little bit or talk about intuitive development, feel free to reach out to me. The first link below the video is a way to schedule an appointment with me, and that's the best way to get in touch. I also have some gift certificates and gift cards there if you want to give the gift of a reading during the holiday season. If you'd like to support the channel, again, I'll put some information here at the bottom about how to join me on Patreon or give a one-time donation through my website, and I'll also put that in the second link below the video. If you want to just stay connected, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, that's the best way to do so, as well as opting into that bell icon for notifications. But also you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my newsletter. The third link will bring you to a splash page where you can join all of those different social media platforms. And as I said earlier, you guys give back to me all the time, so my gift is just my time. Thank you so much for being patient. I know some of these have taken longer. I'm still recovering, so I do appreciate that patience. And I think the changes that I'm going to make in the January readings will also help with the efficiency. So much love and light to you now and always. I hope you have a fantastic December. Whatever you celebrate, just know that I'm celebrating your hard work that you're doing on yourself, and I just appreciate your presence in my life as well. Wishing you love, light, always. See you soon. Bye-bye.